Good morning, everyone. This is Brother Jason Powell here to do another installment of In Case You'd Like to Know. In case you'd like to know what the heck I'm teaching your kids in Sunday school so that you can either A, support it, or B, get your kid out of my class. That's the reason why I do these. And today we're going to be going over what I taught last Sunday, and then we'll just go from there. So, got to keep this under 3 to 4 minutes. So let's get started. I'm going to read First Corinthians chapter 9, verses 25 and 26. And then I'm going to talk about it and what it means. So let's read. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable one. So what I talked about with the kids is that when athletes compete, they have self-control. And what I told them is that in order to complete their goals, they need to have self-control too. Self-control in all things, and we went over what self-control means. And so they know, and they know that they need to be focusing on mastering themselves and not other people mastering themselves for them. And then we talked about how athletes run to receive a prize that is perishable. A wreath is something that people throw away at the end of Christmas. And back in the Greek and Roman times, when people won those wreaths, which were like plant crowns, they were eventually thrown away. But when we run for God and the things that we do for God will last forever, you'll be in heaven rejoicing about the things that you did on earth for the kingdom. But again, so we talked about the spiritual side of that, and we talked about, again, the practical side of that, which is the goals that they're pursuing. Let me read this next verse, and then I'll wrap this up. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air. Let me read the last verse too. But I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself may be disqualified. And so when Paul talks about him not running aimlessly, that means that the things that he's doing with intention. He's doing them on purpose. And so I talked to the kids about being intentional about the things that they do, being intentional about doing things that are going to help them, to complete their goals, being intentional about the things that they're doing for the Lord. And then he also says, I do not box as one beating the air. So Paul's not somebody who's just shadow boxing or just practicing, and never playing in the game, or somebody who's talking, but never doing the things that he's talking about. He's somebody who is doing the things that he says, and that's what a Christian should be, somebody who does the thing that they say that they're going to do. And so that's what I challenge the kids. And then this last verse, he says, but I discipline my body and keep it under control. And so what I told them is something that it took me a while to figure out. God isn't going to make me holy. I told them their parents isn't going to make them into great people. I told them that they have to take ownership of themselves. The Bible says that I discipline my own body. And I told them that if you're waiting for me to push you, or your parents or your teachers, and if that's the only time you ever move in your life, is the only time is when somebody else external is making you do these things, you're never going to reach the goals that you set for yourself. That's what the Bible teaches. It'll save them a couple years of their lives if they take this message to heart now. So that's what I went over. This week, of course, we're going to be continuing our goal series. And then we're going to be memorizing Romans chapter 3, verse 10. As it is written, no one is righteous, none, not one. I think that is such a simple verse to remember. And of course, that verse talks about how there's a problem spiritually, and how if nobody's righteous, we have to deal with how to atone and get right if no one is righteous. So we got to deal with our spiritual problems. And of course, our spiritual problem is solved by giving our life over to Jesus. I am almost out of time. Thank you for listening. Hopefully these are helpful. If they're not, just tell me and I will stop sending them to you. Have a great week. See you on Sunday. Bye.